So, after much debate internally, I thought I'd spill the tea, as they say, with what the Lord told me about 2025. Now, this word was to me, okay, it's not a global word, but I thought it might help you think through what the Lord's been talking to you about for 2025, and maybe we can sync up. So, good morning. I'm Aunt Beth. Welcome to my lamppost. So, I don't mean to sound woo-woo about this or anything else like that, mystical or whatever. Just explaining to you what I believe the Lord has just been talking to me about as far as preparing and expecting for 2025. And he's switching it up the way he talks to me. He just recently, maybe from November on, he's starting with just a word. And as I think about the word, it develops further. So maybe the Lord's also switching up how he talks to you. I don't know. So if I had to sum it up in a word, it would be centering. And here's what I mean by that. Years ago when I was very little, my mom had us all take an art class, and I did pottery. This is like when I was in elementary school, something like that. But I've never forgotten those lessons. And if you've never done pottery with a wheel, what happens is the very first part of it is they knead the clay so that there's no air bubbles in it. And every once in a while you slice it through a wire and check if there's air bubbles, because in a kiln, when it's fired, the air will expand and shatter the pot. So no airheads in the kingdom. Hey, forgive my sense of humor. But anyway, so then you slap it together again and you just keep kneading and kneading and kneading until there's no air bubbles. That's the first step. And I kind of feel like from 2020 to 2024 was some significant kneading. It's rough handling in the sense of going through stuff. I'm still intact. It was a rough ride. But the next step is where I think that I'm going in 2025. Now, maybe you're in a different place. I don't know. But the clay, there's a spinning wheel, okay? It's flat. And the potter slams the clay on it in the center of the wheel, because as the wheel spins, okay, if it's on the edge, it's going to get all lopsided and it'll fall off and it'll get warped and you can't work with it. But if it's in the center, okay, and then the wheel starts spinning, it gets a little crazy, okay? The clay doesn't care, but it's in the center and it's not getting wobbly and off course, and thrown off. All right. And then the potter starts working on it, and he or she gets their hands wet and they cup it, and the wheel's spinning. The mass of clay is centered, and the potter starts cupping it, and then if he's drawing it up into a bowl or a vase, he'll reach his fingers down and gradually pull up like this. Okay, and however you move it is however the thing ends up with a different shape. And that's where I think I am now. Things are spinning, things are going off crazy, and as I was thinking about the word, I had a flash image where this big lump of clay that hadn't gotten worked in to the rest just came off, you know. And the vessel would end up being a little bit smaller because of that, but no defects. So I think this is going to be a year of centering when things just go crazy, spinning around and around and around. But as long as I'm centered, it's going to be okay. And things are going to come off that I don't need that would have kept me out of balance. And we would have had to go back to the beginning if they didn't just sort of fall off. But they fell off. And I'm better for it. Maybe a little bit more dainty and delicate of a vase used for finer things. I'm certainly not going to be a mixing bowl or the quantity of clay that I saw. But it's going to be okay. So maybe you're in that process now. Maybe the Lord's starting to talk to you with different words. I know what happens next in the sense that you're drawn up and you're shaped. The wheel stops spinning. You're cut off your base and you're set to the side to dry. Okay, you can't go into the furnace directly. You have to dry out because otherwise the moisture in the clay will explode the vessel in the furnace. When you're fired in the furnace, it's actually 2 steps. You're fired once, come out, get painted, all decorated, and then fired again. Before the first firing, if you get a handle or, you know, on the side, that's shaped and little groove marks are marked in and to the side so you match up, and then there's a little bit of water and the handle is put on before the firing. So other people may be grafted into you after you're done being thrown around in a good way. But these are to make you more functional. So, just my thoughts. Maybe that'll help you as we're moving forward into this year. You know, I'm expecting so I wrote a bunch of words to me to help me. This is not necessarily for you, but I wanted to talk more about how God works in my life so that you have an idea of. And so I used a lot of words before I came into this image, and I'll read some of them to you. Of slimming down, of adjusted focus and truing up, of shoring up foundations and basics and tightening up what has grown slack, of streamlining, battening down the hatches, intentional, locking in and setting course, of focus, and of, let's see now, remolding, like a potter with clay. So, as things fall off you this year, as things fall off me this year, I'm trying not to go after them. They'll get me out of balance and out of focus. But just keep centering in. Centering as things go spinning crazy round and round. We're in the potter's hands. So, I hope that helps you. Have a fabulous day. All God's best.